Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Despite what procrastination has tried to convince me this week, it's not too late to talk about my July reads. I also think I talked myself out of it a little bit because they were not very memorable. There were a few at the start, but overall, this was very much a dud reading month. So this is kind of going to be some books to stay away from too. So here is my reviews of the 6 books that I read in the month of July. I did say we started off okay. We started off relatively strong. This is Medusa by Ayana Gray. She has also written that Beast of Prey series that I have been avoiding on my TBR. This book did kind of make me excited to read her other stuff. Origin story of Medusa, and actually the Barnes and Noble employee was like, this is where you should start. You said that you like retellings, you like Greek mythology. This is a Black Medusa. It's just described very beautifully and very intentional. So she goes by Medi, and we see the different kind of relationships with her 2 sisters as well, but her journey in getting close to Athena, getting close to Poseidon, and all of the implications of that. One thing that surprised me, I thought Medusa was immortal. I did not know that she was not. So obviously, when I found out what happens to her, I'm like, what the heck? So there's a book about her 2 sisters that I want to read. I can't find the title right now, but I really enjoyed the story of it all. I also really liked that she provided the different accounts for, I guess, the history of Medusa's story, the different routes that people choose to take about her relationship with Athena and her thoughts about Athena's judgment or like Athena's motivation and her relationship with Poseidon as well. So it was nice to have that type of consideration as a reader. It just felt really beginner friendly. So I didn't have to know very much of anything at all to understand what was going on in the story. So that was nice. So unfortunately, that was my only 5-star read of the month. But coming in at 4 stars is In Her Own League by Liz Tomforde. Now, this wasn't bad. 4 stars is not bad. 4 stars is actually pretty good, but it's nothing just throwing you off the edge into being 5 stars. I really liked Reese and Emmett. I liked how Emmett supported Reese. I like how he understood her goals in her profession and just the sort of private intimacy and relationship that they built as well. But I've said this before, I fear that I compare authors' work to authors' work. I mean, who else should you compare it to? So when I feel like you have written your best work, whenever that is, and remember, this is subjective, so this is my opinion. When I feel like you have written your best work, let me get her best work. When I feel like you have written your best work, if you don't outshine it, you're going to lose me. This is the perfect example in the Windy City series. I don't even want to talk about Mile High. I don't know if I should just reread it or if I just don't like that book. I think I tried to read it like 3 or 4 times. But The Right Move, amazing. Transcending the Game changed my life. And then I read the next one, I think it's Caught Up, and I was kind of like, Then Play Along came along to me, and I had to accept defeat that this one is better. So that's what you have to do if you already release your best work. You have to keep getting better. In Her Own League didn't do that to me. That still doesn't mean that it didn't have its good moments, but it just didn't do that. 4 stars. Then I read Lilith, the First Witch. History, Myth, and the Forbidden Power of the Dark Divine by Nyx Corven. So I gave this one 4 stars just cause it seemed like an interesting read, but I also thought I was getting into something fictional because I read Lilith by Nikki Marmory earlier this year and kind of just started to really explore the idea of Lilith as a character, Lilith as an archetype, all of these things. I thought I was getting into something fictional, but I have to say that what I got ended up being much more impactful than a fictional story. So this read like a dissertation. It was around like 150 pages on Kindle, but that's including citations, that was including historical references. It just had a lot of glossary type of information. I think it was like 60 to 70 pages of actual content. Like I said, it read like a dissertation, bringing you into the next topic. So I learned a lot about how Lilith showed up in art, how she's kind of been suppressed as an idea and then reaccepted as an idea and then hidden away as an idea, where they think her origin story is. I learned a lot of different facts or sightings or the ways that people keep up with these things. So it was nice to kind of read this and get that non-fictional perspective, that really research heavy perspective, and then kind of remember Nikki Marmory's Lilith or interpretation of Lilith as well. I think it was really cool. Another way to describe it, it kind of just felt like a passion project. It was really nice and refreshing to read. I don't want it to seem like I'm saying dissertation or anything is making it sound negative. No, it just felt like the author was very, very intentional about the way that they read the story. And even though it was non-fictional and not what I thought it was, I didn't want to stop reading. I was intrigued and I liked it. So I gave this one 4 stars because I did just appreciate it. So next is a 3-star read, and this is where things start to blur, so it kind of makes sense. This is S'more of You by Tessa Bailey, and I have to just say that I don't know why I'm giving her books or her things a chance anymore, but I'm always a sucker for those Amazon short collections that they release. So I go for the author that I'm more familiar with. So I started this one. It is a camp romance where the 2 main characters have been tiptoeing around each other for years. They've been going to the same summer camp for years, and now they are camp counselors. Well, Dean also like runs the camp, and I forgot what the female main character's name was, but they are together at this camp. And when they were campers, she would always play pranks on him because she thought he would know, that she was interested in him. So now where we pick up, they are at camp together and she's ready to confess her feelings. She's ready to make Dean her man this summer, let him know. So she plays a couple pranks on him. It goes badly, and then next thing you know, they're in love and he's taking her virginity. That was it. My review of this book is okay, sure, because you know what, literally okay, sure, like sure, whatever you say, Tessa. This is where my July reading experience started to get terrible. I'm holding Tropesick by Lauren Oki. And Lauren, if you ever see this video, I'm so sorry because I have talked about how much I dislike this book in a couple videos, but I just have to be honest. So let me tell you what it is supposed to be about. It says, in this slow burning summer romance, 2 childhood neighbors unexpectedly reunite to ghostwrite a love story only to discover all the tropes in their manuscript are mysteriously playing out in real life. Okay. Interesting, right? Sounds interesting. A little bit more. We learn that Katie is 25 in New York City and she's just trying to act 25. She's trying to lean into more adult things. And she is a ghostwriter for Meredith Bradford, who's a best-selling author. So that's what she's doing as her career. But then Tyler, the bad boy, alcohol addicted, but now in remission, hate everybody but you, boy next door. Yeah, you hear all those tropes, that's too much. He comes back and he's like, okay. So Katie and Tyler are working on Meredith's novel together. I don't know. Oh, Tyler was like he wanted to write a book, but his stuff wasn't really taking off. So somehow he got into this arrangement so that he would write Meredith's book and then his books would get published. So Katie and Tyler haven't seen or spoken to each other since the overdose death of Katie's older brother, a standout MLB pitching prospect. Tyler was her brother's best friend and Katie was the girl next door. But now Tyler is sleeve tattooed. Oh, forgot that one. Ivy League educated, aspiring literary fiction novelist, 9 years sober. Isn't that just so much about him? And then it says, as genre conventions require, Katie and Tyler soon find themselves removed from Manhattan and instead writing their love story in a forced proximity. There we go again, shoving something else in there. In Meredith's isolated Southampton home. As the summer unfolds, the tropes Katie and Tyler have written into their novel begin to play out in their own lives. Call it destiny, fate, magic. I wish I could say that. I wish I could try to find one thing that I liked about this book. However, I cannot. There was a point when I was reading this where I said, you know what? This is a hate read. I have to tell y'all how bad this is. Actually, I think it was from the very beginning at 27%. I knew this was not good. I feel like this was really, really ambitious and we just did not succeed. They felt so two-dimensional. When you are trying to have him make this joke about how we used to know each other when we were kids, and then she's like, oh well, I haven't spoken to you in 8 years. It was just too much, and the back and forth was too much. Whatever they argued about that made him leave, we don't know. We don't even know what that was. Towards the end, Katie is just such an unlikable character. Let's actually, like, everybody's unlikable, but let's break it down. Katie is unlikable because up until the end, she just read as the most selfish person in the entire world. Then she started begging Tyler, which was making me mad. She's 25 and she was like, I can't be with anybody else. It has to be you. Please. Like, there were times where she was literally begging, and not just once, multiple times. So I didn't like that. But then obviously her parents also lost a child when she lost her brother. When we hear from her mom, it does seem to be a toxic relationship. But I think most people could kind of empathize with the idea of losing someone, losing a child, and grief in general. But midway, Katie was just literally like, my mom is so busy focusing on my brother's grief that she can't even focus on me. She's so selfish. She's so this, she's so that. And again, we don't know anything else about Katie's mom. The few times that we see her as a reader, you'd be thinking, okay, Katie, cut her some slack. It makes Katie truly read as very, very unlikable. Then you have Tyler, on the other hand, who's also unlikable. The two of them together, like, the smut, repulsive, didn't want it. And then because this was like a cesspit of tropes, towards the end, in magic, we throw in ghosts. I was very confused. At the very start of the book, they make a beach read. They make a few book references throughout the book, but at the very beginning, they mention beach read. And I was like, oh, she's going to try to do an Emily Henry. That's ambitious. This is why we have a 1-star read. Gosh, I'm sorry that I've chewed that out so much, but I truly did not enjoy that reading experience. And I think it's taken me a while to process just why that was like a flawed experience on multiple levels. Then I guess we needed another 1-star read to join Tropesick to finish out the month of July. We have The X by Freida McFadden. Freida is known and loved on this channel, and with Freida, you have to give her her graces, right? Like, she comes out with 18 books per week, so the odds of all of them being good are low. So when I picked up The X after reading The Divorce, last month, and that being one of my new favorites, when I picked up The X, I'm like, how is this going to be different from the divorce. You know, we've got the boyfriend, the ex, the divorce, the like how are they going to be different? These two felt similar, but we quickly realized that that's not true because the divorce was a 5-star, a favorite, and the ex is 1-star. Brief synopsis: Cassie thinks she's met the perfect man. Joel is sweet, handsome, romantic, and best of all, he's crazy about Cassie. She thinks she's found the guy she'll spend the rest of her life with, have children with, grow old with. Yes, she knows about his perfect ex-girlfriend, Francesca, the beautiful, brilliant chef beloved by all his friends. But she thinks Francesca is out of the picture. She thinks Francesca is gone for good. Think again, Cassie. All right, a lot of characters in this book. A lot of them are living and dead at various times that don't make any sense at any point in the book. I think that actually wrapped it up quite nicely. That's my issue. I was bored, and then I was wondering what was going on, and then I was confused, and then I was confused more, and then I was confused again, but at nighttime, and then it was over. I don't know. Like I said, I cut Freida some slack. She'll probably have a new book out tomorrow night. That one might be a hit. I wish that I had better results to report for July, but we started off August with a 5-star read, so it's looking up. I'm very hopeful. If you've read any of these books, please let me know what your thoughts are from the 5-star to the 1-star. I'm super curious, and tell me some things that you read in the month of July. Make sure that you like the video, that you subscribe to the channel, and that if you're interested in other places to find me, you look in the description down there. And until the next video, I am sending well wishes for your next read and mine. Hopefully it is a 5-star.